So here's how I did the magic trick from the last video. Basically inside of the cup, there's this powder, and this powder is the same powder that's inside of diapers. And what's special about this powder is that it can absorb water. So last time I had water in a cup and I put the water into this cup, right? And then when I try to pour it out, there's no water coming out because this powder, it absorbs the water, and so the water can't spill out because it got absorbed. You see here, like, of course there's a limit to how much it can absorb. And so once you go past the limit, then it'll still be water. And then let me just take it out so you can see what it looks like, right? Like, really, it just absorbed the water. And so why was it able to absorb the water? It's the property of that molecule allows it to absorb that water. And so in this video, we're going to talk about protein structure. And so proteins have all kinds of shapes, and proteins, because of their shape, give you certain traits. For example, your fingernails are made of protein. Your hair is made of protein. What else? Some parts of your skin is made of protein, right? So protein builds different things, but fingernail is a lot harder than your hair. Right? So how come the fingernail is so much harder than your hair, even though they're both made of protein? Well, we have to look at the structure of protein. So I prepared this. Okay, so on this piece of tape are like some different things representing amino acids. And so amino acids connect together to build protein. And so you can see these different things that I put on, they represent different amino acids. Okay? Why are amino acids different? Because each molecule of amino acid has a R group, and the R group can have different atoms that form that amino acid. So for example, you might have heard of GLY is one amino acid, ALA is another amino acid. There's a whole chart of amino acids. Anyway, so here there's a bunch of amino acids, and when they connect together, that's the primary structure of a protein. Primary structure just means that amino acids connected together. Okay, why are they able to connect together? Because of dehydration synthesis. The next structure of protein is secondary structure. So in secondary structure, some of these amino acids are attracted to each other because of hydrogen bonding, and so you might get a little helix shape, or you might get like a beta pleated sheet, and that would be secondary structure. It's from the amino acids themselves having slight attractions to each other due to hydrogen bonding. If you're not sure what hydrogen bonding is, just read the description to review some chemistry. Okay, so that's primary, is just amino acids connected together. Secondary is when they're kind of attracted to each other. Tertiary structure, though, is when two of these secondary structures, they might start having more interactions. So as you can see, depending on what amino acids are in that chain, maybe they start connecting like this, right? Because of the shape and properties of those amino acids. Maybe they start, here, like connecting like this, right? And so tertiary structure is when some of those secondary structures start having connections to each other. And then finally, quaternary structure would be when there's even more connections beyond just two secondary structures connecting. Okay, so quick review. If I can take this off real quick, right? So primary structure is just the amino acids. Secondary structure is when those amino acids start having slight attractions to each other and form hydrogen bonds. Tertiary, though, is when you might involve two secondary structures or more, right? And start having different kinds of interactions, different kinds of bonds and connections between the different amino acid R groups. And finally, quaternary structure would be even more of this interaction. Because of this, protein can then have different shapes. And then because of their shapes, they have different properties. That's why your fingernail is much harder than your hair, right? And just to use Legos again as an example, right? If you build Legos one way, you can get like this London bus. If you build Legos another way, you could get like this fire truck, right? So it depends on what amino acids there are and how they connect.